In our first story, an alleged military assault on some civilians in Damongo in the West Gonja municipality of the Savannah region has left one person in critical condition and 17 others, including a military officer, with minor injuries. Sources close to Joy News indicated that the military personnel after the attack went to town in search of the civilian who was in critical condition. The group then forced the victim, who they alleged to be responsible for assaulting their second-in-command, to pay for the latter's medical bills at the West Gonja Municipal Hospital and other private facilities that he was taking to. According to available information, the brutality took place around 7 p.m. on Monday, May 31, 2021, at the main entrance of the Damongo Nurses Training College, located between the Savannah Regional Police Headquarters and the military camp.
The car was coming from the military camp. After a speed round, the military stopped. And after it stopped, the military men came down, went and approached the guys. All of a sudden, then it came to a fight. And as a result of that, they hit one of those guys, which is injured. Currently, that the head needs to be stitched, but it has not been stitched yet.
Were you there when the whole thing happened?
Yeah, I was there.
So were the military coming from town in this coast side as alleged, or they were coming from their camp?
They were coming from their camp. After before the fight, they were all dispersed. From there, then the soldiers came from their camp. There were two initially. They came with one car, but when they were going to the out of the industry that they are talking of, it went with two vehicles.
So when they got to NTC, what did they do? What really happened?
Oh, they really attacked the guys, beat them up.
Away from that story, school children at Nyingare, a small farming community in the East Mamprushi municipality of the Northeast region, are forced to stay at home and accompany parents to the farm after a rainstorm ripped off their school building 2 months ago. Residents of the community are expressing worries over the development as they call on authorities to fix the damage. Head teacher of the school, Isifu Brahima, has warned that the school could be forced to close down completely in the coming days if the situation persists as rains are about to start.
The Nyingare community is located along the Nalirgu-Walewale Highway, few kilometers from the Gambaga town. It is one of the poorest and neglected communities in the Northeast region with a very limited basic amenities and livelihood opportunities. This 6-unit basic school classroom block constructed few years back has been the only education infrastructure in the community. But 2 months ago, a rainstorm which swept across the area caused massive damage to the school building, displacing the school children and rendering academic activities inactive. Headmaster of the school explained the impact of the situation and pleaded with authorities to immediately come to the rescue of the school.
In the morning session, we use the latest shade that we have to do teaching and learning. Then when it gets to maybe somewhere 11 to 12, by then the whole place will be, maybe no shade will be there. So they will have to close. But then the children cannot do anything. So we make use of the morning session. In the afternoon, we have to close. Because of the incident, people are not coming to school. They are, according to them, the way the school is, they can't come to school to sit in the sun and learn. So that one, it has affected the attendance greatly. There are about 200 plus, but hardly do we get 50 a day attendance. So it's affecting us a lot. The children are future leaders. We don't know, they could be present among them in future. So we are appealing that those who can help to come to and save us so that maybe the lives of the children will be improved in future.
Since the incident occurred, Joy News has learned both teachers and residents have been trying to get the attention of authorities, but to no avail. As a result, many children are choosing to stay at home and to engage in farming and other activities with their parents. This 63-year-old woman, who gave her name as Mina, was on her way to the farm with her granddaughter, who is in class 5. If the school was in good condition, the children wouldn't have stayed at home for us to take them to farm. Another parent said the condition of the school is discouraging teaching and learning, and defended their decision to take their children to the farm. The children sit in the sun to study. As a result, they are not excited to go to school. So we are appealing for the school to be rehabilitated. The school building is not in good condition. How can children study under this kind of structure? We are not also excited going with them to farm, but we are compelled. The situation in the school is the main reason the children are now with us in the farm. You can't leave them to idle about when they refuse to go to school. So we are appealing for the school to be fixed. The situation was reported to the Education Directorate, the Eastman Proceed Municipal Assembly, and the Member of Parliament for the area. However, none of these authorities was available to comment. Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
Right now.
Now, in total, there are 5,403 schools under trees and also others in deplorable conditions in Ghana, according to the Education Ministry data. Today, the Valco Trust Fund, a charitable body set up to help in the advancement of education and science by the Volta Aluminium Limited, Valco, has announced an ambitious multi-billion cedi plan to rebuild all such schools into modern schools between this year and 2025. The plan will see kindergartens, primary and junior high schools that are currently in deplorable conditions see an upgrade in a phased approach by the Valco Trust Fund as it raises funds to see through the project. Executive Director of the Valco Trust Fund, Kelvin Yeboah, who announced details of the project at a news conference in Accra today, noted that due to the huge financial requirements of the project, which will cost over 3 billion Ghana cedis to execute, they are beginning with 18 kindergartens spread across the country with an initial amount of 6.8 million cedis, while soliciting for funds to execute the rest. My colleague, Kweku Asante, was at this news conference and has joined us with more. Now, Kweku, what is the antecedent of this ambitious project?
Right, so the Valco Trust Fund, together with other organizations within the education sector, have been trying to map out all the schools under trees and the schools with very dilapidated infrastructure across the country. And according to them, after conducting this thorough mapping and research, they realized that there were 5,403 schools that were either under trees or were in very dilapidated situations. And so Valco and their trust fund is coming together to raise enough funds to be able to fix this situation. And so they say this will cost a total of 3.5 billion cedis. It's not something Valco alone or the Valco Trust Fund alone is in the position to do. And so they are trying to raise funds through corporate bodies and individuals who want to come on board and support to be able to make this a success. And so they've listed a number of schools that they say they are going to do for the first year, and starting with 18 schools. Valco Trust Fund is using around 7 million Ghana cedis to be able to undertake this whole project by at least dealing with 18 schools first before they can get some corporate support and continue.
Now, Kweku, we know that the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Pokwa Mankwa, was at this event. You spoke to him, I understand. What did he say?
Right. So we were trying to find out from the Director General of the Ghana Education Service what exactly Ghana Education itself is doing outside of such a project to rid the schools of such dilapidated infrastructure, and also these schools that were still under trees over 60 years of Ghana's independence. And what he said was that as a ministry, they've always tried on their own to try and fix some of this situation. Just like the report you played before this interview, they see such videos and then move in to go and help. And so aside this project coming on board to help, as an organization, as a government agency, year in, year out, they go to the length and breadth of this country to observe such situations and fix it. And so they are going to partner Valco Trust Fund to be able to ensure that this new program that they've launched becomes a success.
Thank you, Kwekwa Asante, for joining us with those updates. Now, the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists has expressed disappointment at the position of the Healthcare Facilities Regulatory Agency, HEFRA, on the leadership of the medical laboratories in Ghana. They say HEFRA is introducing new positions in lab leadership which are not recognized by the law. This comes after the organization, in a letter to the Ghana Medical Association, said basic laboratories across the country are to be headed by a licensed medical laboratory technician, whereas primary, secondary and tertiary labs, on the other hand, are to be headed by either a laboratory physician or a licensed biomedical scientist. This clarification came in the wake of an impasse between medical laboratory scientists across the country and the Ghana Medical Association over the appointment of 2 doctors to leadership positions at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, leading to a nationwide strike by medical laboratory technicians. President of the Ghana Association of Medical Lab Scientists, Dr. Abu Abudu Rahmani, spoke to us on News Desk.
The law does not state anywhere. The law does not mention anywhere laboratory physicians. Okay? In the law, laboratory physicians were not mentioned anywhere. So we are at a shock. How come HIFRA is now indicating and inserting laboratory physicians into an act of parliament? We don't want to push this. Certainly, when we want to take this, people like it is seen as if we are always fighting a system. But you can see that there's a clear agenda, because in the HIFRA Act, nothing was mentioned of laboratory physician. Nothing was mentioned of a primary, secondary, and tertiary laboratory. Laboratory is laboratory. Okay, that was what was mentioned. There was no division of laboratory in the Act.
Okay.
And so it is so surprising that the registrar of HIFRA, who come out, and as you said, the letter that was late, it was a request from our sister profession. So everything is being made just to present their issue in good light for them. So it has to, anything that they have to do just to procure something to favor them, they will do. But we can promise them that the time of the past is gone. This time, we are not going to sit and allow that issue to be taken out of order.
What will your association do?
Well, for now, we have seen what he has written. We will certainly, we don't act out of our own emotions, even though this morning we are emotionally, I don't know, I don't want to use any other word, but then the registrar has really surprised us, because he is a gentleman that we know. We have interacted with him, and we know that he's a very fine gentleman. But to allow himself to be forced to write such a report is highly unfortunate. But all the same, we will not act. We will act based on advice from our lawyers.
Now, Dr. Rahmani says the strike will end soon, since the courts have ordered his association to go back to work.
We are law-abiding profession, and as such, I know my regional chairman and my regional chapters are working very strongly to ensure that the court orders are obeyed or respected.
So when will we see your members back as post?
That is something we can speak to later in the day. For now, our attention is meeting Parliament and then presenting our issues to Parliament. And whatever the outcome is, certainly we'll make it available to the public.
And the medical laboratory scientists in the central region have written to the Allied Health Professional Council to deal with quacks that are being used by some health facilities to do the work that is supposed to be done by certified medical laboratory scientists. The medical scientists say, apart from the Ewim Polyclinic that was using quacks in the laboratory, there are also other health facilities that have resorted to do same. Central Region Chairman of the scientists, Samuel Amwa, indicates the practice is illegal and frowns on the Health Professionals Regulatory Bodies Act. He's been speaking to my colleague, Richard Kojanyako.
We had an information, my task force who went to the facility had information that there are 2 casuals who are non-licensed casuals working in the laboratory in the absence of the professionals who are licensed. So we warned them to leave, and then they locked the place and they left. But subsequently we realized that they do go there and work. So we issue a warning letter from the Regional Executive Council that they are not supposed to work. And when we come back and see that they are working, we will report them to the necessary authorities. We were supposed to cooperate the police, but upon advice, we were asked to inform the regulatory body, that is the Allied Health Professions Council. So we informed the Allied Health Professions Council. They have taken details of the facility and everything, and they will now act. We have a similar report from the Kaswa Polyclinic. Then also, even in Cape Coast, we've heard that the Leprosarium and also Kisi Health Center, they are all working with people who are not qualified to work at the facility. So we are also following up on them, and at the appropriate time we will inform council about it. Once the lab scientists are on strike, they are the licensed people to work there. The law does not allow you to get somebody who is not licensed to work there. That is the main. That is why we have informed the regulatory authority. When we're able to confirm that there are such people working there, then the right thing to do is inform the regulatory authority so that they also come in and sanction them.
So the strike is still in force in the region?
As we speak now, we've not got any message or any message from our national leaders in the contrary. So we are still on the strike.
Richard himself joins us via Zoom. Richard, what more did he say?
Well, so what he said was that in the letter, they indicated that they were going to send the police after such quacks that the hospitals are harboring because they pose a danger to the society. They might not be churning out the right laboratory results. And so that is why they say it is against the act that establishes or that oversees the health professions or the health facilities. So that is what he's saying. He said that apart from the RIM that they wrote to, there are many other facilities that are using quacks. He understands that, well, the hospital management would want to manage the situation very well, but it doesn't call for the use of quacks in the laboratories.
Now, Richard, away from that story, you were in court to cover the Asin North Member of Parliament's dual citizenship case. Tell us what transpired in court.
Well, so today what transpired in court was that Mr. Abraham Amalba, who had written to the court earlier to withdraw his services from representing the Asin North MP, came and said that, well, before he does that, the MP has to be written to, or he needs to be notified so he could go to the market and get someone who will represent him, or either the MP himself will be appearing in court. And so the court agreed that, well, they should give him 7 days, and then with the facilitation of Mr. Abraham Amalba to get the MP notified or served. So on the 8th of June, the MP would be in court, or a legal representation would have been found to represent the Member of Parliament there. And this caused some disagreement, and Sami Jemfi said that the party believes that the judge who is sitting on the case has predetermined the matter already, and so they had written to the Chief Justice to prevail on the judge to recuse himself so the matter could take its course. But the representation of the applicant who sent the matter to court, they disagree. They believe that it is some tactics, some ploy employed by the NDC to delay the case, but they say that they cannot go, that what they are doing cannot go in perpetuity. So whatever happens, they...
Right, we seem to have a few technical difficulties with getting through to Richard Kojanyako. He was briefing us on what's transpired in court when the Asin North Member of Parliament, James Kwachikwesin, was taken to court. Now, as Parliament prepares to vet Charles Edubuahene tomorrow for his appointed role as Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, Member of Parliament's Finance Committee Isaac Adongo is urging the House to reject his nomination. He says Mr. Edubuahene's private firm, Black Star Advisory, Data Bank and other advisory firms have made 856 million Ghana cedis in fees on Ghana's loans since 2017. He says the conflict of interest makes him unfit for the role. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us via Zoom from Parliament with more. Joseph, what else has Mr. Adongo been saying?
Daniel, he's been drawing attention to what he says a number of concerns about Ghana's borrowing generally. And he's been detailing what he says has been more than 200 billion Ghana cedis that the nation has borrowed over the last 4 years, out of which he says the advisors and the book runners have earned more than 865 million Ghana cedis. And he says a lot of this money has mainly gone to the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Attah's Data Bank, and the Black Stars Advisory, which belongs to Charles Edubuahene. And he goes on to say that this is a critical conflict of interest situation that shouldn't warrant Mr. Edubuahene coming back into the position with regards to the Finance Ministry and even virtually being elevated to then become a Minister of Finance. He goes on to make the point that he thinks that over the years, the kind of borrowing that the nation has been doing has only been because these two individuals, the Finance Minister and Mr. Edubuahene, just want their companies to earn more money from the various transactions, and that it's not being done in the national interest, which he thinks is something that should stop. And he would petition the International Monetary Fund and even push his colleagues so that then Mr. Edubuahene doesn't end up as Minister of State at the presidency in charge of the Finance Ministry.
Now, Joseph, what's the update on the North Tongue MP Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwe's question regarding the president's use of private jet?
So that is something that will not be happening today in terms of the Minister for Defense. Dominic Nitti will come in to respond to questions on that. It's not one of the items that has been listed on the other paper. We have the Health Minister on the floor responding to various questions, and looks like that's mainly the focus for today, after which the House will deal with businesses having to do with the private members' motion seeking an investigation into recruitment into the various security agencies. So we are very clear in our minds that that is not happening today. We're waiting to get more details on when exactly the Speaker will be tabling that question for the Defense Minister to come respond to.
Now, what of the meeting that the Health Committee is supposed to have to resolve concerns of the Biomedical Staff Association? Has that happened?
That's happening at 1 p.m. We gather that the various officials, as far as the biomedical staff and then the doctors, have indicated that they would be present at the meeting, which would be chaired by Dr. UFA, who is chairman of the committee. So this is something that the committee says they hope that by the end of it, a resolution will be brought to the issue. And that meeting will start at 1 p.m., after which we'll then get more details on how it transpires eventually.
Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, thanks very much. We'll come back to you when there's more to report in that story. Now, President Akufo-Addo says the emerging challenge where media freedom is attacked is condemnable and has no place in any democratic dispensation. According to him, though he is the most vilified in the Ghanaian media space, he is unapologetic about the repeal of the criminal libel law and the passage of the Rights to Information law. Opening a conference of African Journalists Leaders Conference, President Akufo-Addo also added, criticism of journalistic work cannot be described as an attack on the media. Right, let's move to other stories. And they had very high expectations ahead of their contest on day 2 of the Eastern Regional National Science and Maths Quiz Qualification Contests. As 2019 winners of the World Robotics Competition held in the United States of America, they were convinced no school would be a hurdle to their dream of qualifying for the main NSMQ in October. But Suhum Presek dashed their hopes by beating them with 2 points. Here are the girls from Methodist Girls Senior High School, McGee's confidence of victory ahead of the contest.
Methodist Girls High School just arrived here at the Nut Hall. They are taking part in the first contest, and already the girls are excited. They are noted to be the best when it comes to the RoboFest and all of that. So many are expecting them to put up a very spectacular performance here, and the girls are saying that's definitely what is going to happen. Anthem? Okay.
Maggie's girls, Maggie's girls, Maggie's girls, pride of the East, pride of the East, pride of the East. Stand firm, remain focused, the Maggie's girls, pride of the East. With Maggie's girls, Maggie's girls, Maggie's girls, pride of the East, pride of the East, pride of the East. Stand firm, remain focused, the Maggie's girls, pride of the East. With honesty, integrity, and industry, our motto in mind, sleep not, rest not, victory away. Press on to the crown of glory, obtain. Fly high, fly high, fly high, in dignity, and only go to the sky, as only go to the sky. Maggie's, Maggie's, Maggie's girls, alright.
Wow, I love the excitement, and I love the school anthem. Wow, this is great.
Okay, so we are actually not anxious because we have done it before internationally, and we are here to take this one too. Of course,
internationally you've done it, and this one is what, local.
I hope you've heard of robotics, and this is just science and math quiz. Oh please, expect the best. And yes, we are here to show them something. You understand?
The assignment has started already. Here. Let me speak to their teacher. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Nicholas Amponsa.
Nicholas, what should we expect?
Today we are going in with a good ambition, a serious determination, and we are praying that today the wind will blow in our favor. I pray that today Magis will qualify. We are the robotics school, so we are trying to pull our weight. Today we are going to show them that we will be able to do much greater. I pray that things will go our way this time. Things will go our way, and we are going to make it. We are going to make it. We are going to make it. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You have to give them an A for confidence, though. Unfortunately, they were unable to qualify. All the best to them in the future. It's an excellent school, though. Now, we move to other disappointing news when it comes to competitions. Two former champions of the Love FM High School debate have been kicked out of the third edition, which opened Monday in Kumasi. The 2019 champion, St. Jerome Senior High School, was beaten by Ifia Kobisewa and PIM SHS, whilst made winners of the maiden edition, TIMAS, were whipped by Adventist Girls SHS. The highly competitive opening contest displayed high oratory skills in debating to the delight of participants at the Christian Service University Auditorium. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko was there.
The motion was topical. Media ethics breaches are to blame for the compromise of press freedom, not the government. Speakers for TI, Amas and Adventist Girls Senior High Schools were articulate for and against the motion.
The media practitioners should be blamed for the compromise of their freedom. It's the way some of them sometimes incite the public to revolt against authority. It is unprofessional and unethical to incite in the general public to revolt against authority. Unfortunately, most of the journalists are found guilty of this crime, and if their freedom is compromised, our opponents want us to level it against the government. We are sorry, we do not agree with you.
The chair, fellow students, the government should be blamed for the compromise of press freedom, since government officials are notorious for threatening media personnel. The chair, we're all here in this country when a group of investigative journalists had to spend part of 2018 in hiding after producing a documentary about corruption in Ghanaian football titled Number 12. These journalists went into hiding because their lives were being threatened.
Adventist Girls had a sum total of 215, which is up to 71.6%. TIMAS had 204, totaling 68%. The winners for the first contest in the 2021 edition of the Love FM High School debate goes to Adventist Girls.
we told you before that our confidence and like our preparation this time around was very, very different. It was totally different.
The judges delivered their verdict, 204-215 in favor of Adventist Girls Senior High School. The second contest for the day saw defending champions St. Jerome Senior High School fall to Efiakobi Senior High School. The score, 214-236 for the motion. The double track system has more negatives than positives.
The double track system has led to the emergence of inconsistent and unstable academic calendar, making our education look ridiculous. Since the inception of the double track system, students, parents, and teachers always have to wait like soldiers ready to go to war. They need to always wait for an answer from their GES every time before they can ascertain when school resumes and vacates.
One of the criticisms against the implementation of the free SHS was that it would compromise the quality of education at that level. However, the introduction of the double track system has put us in high school on the right track towards improving the quality of education. Before the inception of the double track system, Ghana's education system was already ranked as one of the poorest in the world. This is evidently supported by the global school rankings done by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in 2015.
St. Jerome had 214, representing 71.3%. Efiakobi had 236, representing 78.7%. So, moving on to the next stage of the competition, Efiakobi Ampim Senior High School.
The losing schools received recognition from multimedia plus shopping vouchers from Melcom.
Thank you.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
You're live on Joy News today. Now, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has called for some control mechanisms to whip banks in line with the reduction in the monetary policy rate. More in business, stay with us.
Good afternoon, time for business. My name is Darryl Kwao. President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has called for some control mechanisms to whip banks in line with a reduction in the monetary policy rate. He believes some regulatory controls must be put in place to ensure banks follow the lead.
They should be able to pull down the commercial rate. That's the important thing. We've seen it when it was 14.5. It didn't do anything. So we plead with the Bank of Ghana or the government itself to fund some control system that will necessarily push the commercial banks to do what they have to do. In this case, the room is too big. Yeah.
This afternoon, we spoke to a banking consultant who says that it's going to take close to 6 months for most of these banks to readjust their pricing. And they're making note of the fact of non-performing loans being so high. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, that's an excuse that we'll never buy. The onus lies on the banks to do their necessary due diligences. And then the fact that someone is not paying his bills or paying his loans does not mean that it should be shared with the person who is paying legitimately. This is not fair. This is never done anywhere. And that the person who is paying his loan should be rewarded also. And that the one that is not paying should be punished. And so, but if you lump it together and say that because people do not pay their loans, they are bad loans and all that, that's why we have to spread the risk evenly. This is unheard of. I can even smell some kind of cartel, because you see in the world of competition, the rates will vary from one to the another, but they are almost all hovering around the same rate, which is quite suspicious. So when the rate is down, then of course we are expecting that the lending rates, the commercial rates should also follow suit.
Now, Consolidated Bank Ghana CBG has begun training program to enhance the strength of its core staff in the credit risk management portfolio. The program is aimed at helping beneficiary staff with additional competence in dealing with small-scale businesses to reduce high risk of non-performing loans in the sector. Here's more on the academy.
The Consolidated Bank Ghana Credit Risk Academy is part of the goals and strategies by the bank to trigger some reductions in non-performing loans from the small and medium enterprises. According to the Chartered Institute of Bankers Ghana, this is the maiden training program a commercial bank in the country has instituted for their staff to enhance their strength. Here is Managing Director of CBG, Dano Ado.
Credit Risk Management Academy is critical because it enables and provides tools for our staff to be able to understand the credit management process, to be able to originate good credits, but most importantly, also to offer good business advice to our customers. Now, that's very important, particularly given the concentration on SME, small business, local businesses. You see, it's not just about offering them credit. It's about offering them credit that helps their businesses to grow. It's about meeting them in their time of need, but it's also about giving them advice how to run their business, what kind of facility is appropriate for the business at any point in time. So this, for us, is a key pillar of the strategy and the way we want to manage our risk going forward.
Chief Executive of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, Charles Ofori-Aqua, has lauded the initiative and disclosed that the institute is looking forward to covering all other financial institutions in the country with such a certification program.
We also have the certification programs where you actually narrow down in a particular area of the banking business, drill down and go through proper, additional training to be certified as an expert in a particular area. So you could be a chartered banker and also be certified additionally in, say, credit risk management, in treasury, or in banking operations. So under the Act 991, where the institute actually draws its mandate, this program with CBG is the first of its kind under the certification. So what we are doing is certification in credit risk management.
The program will help to judiciously use the recently acquired ECOWAS Bank for investment and development line of credit.
The marketplace is coming up at the top of the hour, but there's more business news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Up next, Ghana Hockey Federation determined to hone more talents after failing to qualify for Tokyo Olympics. More coming up with Muftar. Don't go anywhere.
Hello everyone, time now to do some sports news on Joy News today. I am Muftar Nabila Abla. After failing to qualify for the Tokyo Olympic Games, the Ghana Hockey Federation is determined to hand more talents so that they will ensure that more athletes will have an opportunity of participating in the Olympic Games in the near future. There's more in the following report put together by Joy Sports' Elon Benaya.
Ghana's male and female hockey teams failed to qualify for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics after finishing third and second respectively at the African qualifiers last year August in South Africa. After the disappointment of not making it to next year's Olympic Games, the head of communication for the Ghana Hockey Federation, Reverend Lomomenu, says the federation is planning to build new pitches and other facilities to sharpen the talent and skills of players.
It was meant to set up for everything, but more especially for the youth, because we need to build our capacity as a country. Our national teams haven't been faring too well, even though we were once African champions, and then we also placed in second or third in the World Series. South Africa and Egypt, they have overtaken us, both boys, girls, men and women. So this was to unearth talents across the country and then to sharpen our skills.
He also added that the federation is targeting gold for Ghana in the 2023 African Hockey Games.
Well, we have to collect all the gold medals. No joke. Okay. Because if we have 3 new pitches, okay, and we have our coaches well trained, and we are having competitions. You know, competitions are very, very important. I mean, for example, just about 5 years ago, we revived the senior high school national hockey competition, and the progress has been amazing. You find students or schools who were playing, I mean, when we started 5 years ago, their level wasn't that good. But last year when we had the last one, I mean, amazing. And if we continue like that, I mean, the interest is going to definitely develop. A lot more young ones who are more talented would want to play hockey. And I believe that once we have opportunities like World Africa Games, World Games for them to travel and so on and so forth, they will be aspiring, you know, to play and play well.
The Ghana hockey team is set to be back in action in February.
And it's time for Showbiz. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. And moving on the story, some fans of Shatta Wale on social media claim the artist paid some road contractors to work on the stretch around his office before he left for the US. The SM leader debunked the assertion on Daybreak Hits this morning. This comes after viral video shows some self-acclaimed fans of the dancehall sensation attacked the contractor and his employees for failing to work on the stretch leading to his office.
Well, Shatta, hold on. Shatta, what was the agreement you had with the contractor? Did you pay him any money to fix the road?
Andy, when I was talking, I presented my case. That I paid anybody. What I'm saying, don't you get Andy? Sometimes you're already saying yes, you was cacao.
No. Oh, don't please don't use those words. Don't. These are unprintable words. Don't say that because you must be clear. When you were speaking, you were so much angry, going on and on and on. Please,
Andy. When I'm talking, listen to me. You see
what makes you think I'm not listening to you?
You see, so that's what I'm saying, that when I was making my presentation, I didn't make a presentation saying I paid somebody. So don't bring this into this.
That's why I am asking. If you had mentioned it, I wouldn't have asked again. But I am asking you, since you didn't mention it, that's why I'm asking. I didn't say, did you say, I'm asking you.
Andy, no.
Hello?
Yeah, no. I said no. I'm telling you, I said no.
Okay, right.
Remember, for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. Right, and thanks for joining us. Up next is the Marketplace.